Hi, how's everybody doing today? I'm here with a little special video. Been watching this guy for a little while. His name is Paul Unslaved, and he goes around showing these officers that you do not need a license to operate a vehicle if you are traveling. And I've been saying this for a long time. It was weird to me when I was a little kid that you had to have a what you call a driver's license, and when you read the manual, driving pertains to commerce, like you're traveling, you're actually carrying things, people or items or produce or something like that. And back in the day, you had to get a license to do business. And now it's back in like 100 years ago because the fruit and stuff they would get from places would be foul, so they'd have to track it from where you got it and stuff like that. And that was why you had to have your license registered to the states that you were operating to travel, to do that type of business. And like Uber drivers, they're actually drivers because they're driving people around. But if you get in your car that you personally own, that you bought, you don't need license and you don't need a insurance. You don't need a tag. It's all a grift. It's another grift the government's been doing for a long time. And I remember my Aunt Charlotte, she came down to live with us. She had cancer. It was my mom's sister, and she had a Cadillac. And she won this Cadillac at Atlantic City. It was expensive. It was like a $50,000 Cadillac Seville, first of its kind. It had leather. It was all automatic and shit. It was expensive if you got it fixed. But my aunt had a lot of money, and she moved down to Florida with my mom and I and her son, my cousin Oki. He is older than me. He's 9 years older, and we all lived together. And when she switched her tags over in Florida, it was like over $1,000. And then later on, after she passed away, God bless her soul, the Supreme Court made Florida pay back all these people at that extra money because it was unlawful and it was extortion, and they were charging 4 or 5 times the amount to switch your tag over from a different state, when technically all you really had to do is just get a brand new tag, turn your tag in from whatever state you were in, and then buy a new tag, for your car in Florida, and it would have been like $100 or something like that. But every year you're getting grifted on paying, your tag cost, your insurance cost. It's ridiculous. It costs some people $500-600 to renew their tag, and it's a grift, and it's not even owned by the states. It's privately contracted, just like prisons and stuff. And I want you to hear some of this for a little bit, and then go check out his channel. I think it's important that when we come across things, we need to share it with each other as a community, or things are just going to be the same way. You got to stop complying to this bullshit. These people are criminals, and they're fucking taking your money, and it's ridiculous. And I'm not saying to go out and do what he's doing, because it could be dangerous. Some of these police officers are off the hinge. They're steroid up, and they'll fuck you up. Like in Florida, if you try this bullshit, these cops will beat the shit out of you. And he's smart enough to make sure he's got everything on video, and that's the only reason he got away with this shit.
Video, please. Let me just start my video, please.
Your video?
Yeah, I'm just going to record this interaction.
Okay. I need your license to search that too.
What makes you believe that I need that to travel from point A to point B?
Because you have no license on your no license on your vehicle, sir.
Would you like to see my paperwork?
Yes, I will. I asked for it 2 seconds ago.
That's not what I have for you, sir.
Okay?
I have here the definitions from the Motor Vehicle Code. I have the Supreme Court decisions and everything you need here to understand that I don't need a license, registration, or any documentation to travel from point A to point B. It is a right that has been preserved by the Supreme Court and the law of the land.
Okay. Sir, in order to drive in Colorado, you need to have license.
It's not driving. The definition says right there, sir, driving is doing commerce where you're employed on the road.
ID?
I don't need to present ID unless I'm in the commission of a crime, sir. I have not committed any crime.
You violated traffic law in the state of Colorado.
The definitions are right there, sir. If you'd like to go to court, we can
Sir,
handle
I need your ID, okay? I need your license, insurance, registration. You operate a motor vehicle.
Did you even look at my paperwork at all?
Sir, I'm looking at your paperwork. If
Did
we
you
go
read
out,
the definitions? The Motor Vehicle Code definition is in there. It says driving is doing commerce on the roadway. I am not doing commerce. I am not employed. If you could please get a supervisor out here, I'd appreciate it, sir.
Okay, do me a favor and then turn the car off then. I'll get a supervisor out here for you.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere, sir.
Can you turn the car off for me then?
Am I obligated to turn my car off? I'm not intending to go anywhere. I'd like to handle this matter and settle it right now. I have no reason to leave. Why would I do that?
I'm getting another unit out here for your request.
Sure.
Okay. All I ask is to see your license, insurance, registration.
I'm telling you that I don't have such because I'm not required to by law. It's been upheld. It's been upheld by the.
In Colorado, you're required to have
It's-
license, insurance,
it's
registration.
federally been upheld.
Motor vehicle on state roads.
The definition is right there from the Motor Vehicle Code. Driving is defined as doing commerce on the roadway employed by somebody. I am not employed to do commerce.
See, these cops are so clever. Well, they think they're clever. They are trained to get you to say certain words. So when you comply with these folks and you're speaking to them, that's why they say anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. It will. Everything that you speak, every time you speak to an officer, you are pretty much telling on yourself or opening up the avenue to where you have to give out your private information. So you thought. But under the Constitution of the United States of America, you have a right to be secure in your person, places, and things, and they can't just make you give your license and your ID to people without committing a crime. For instance, about 10 years ago, my friend and I were walking down the street, and we weren't, like I dress nice, and I'm a pretty clean cut person, and my other friends the same way. So we were heading to a restaurant that we're gonna go watch a football game, and it was dark out, and we were going from Port Orange, which is they got little city limits, so you can actually go 10 miles down the road and be in a different city, or 5 miles down the road and be in a different city. So we're walking through Port Orange sidewalk. It's lighted, and then in some areas it's dark, but it's a huge sidewalk, like enough to put a tractor or trailer on. These big sidewalks. Okay, so we're walking down the street, and a police officer turns around. He's a Port Orange cop. He turns around, and I'm in South Daytona at this point. We're literally walking across the thing, and he pulls us over. He says, "Hey, fellas, where are you going?" And I just kept walking because I didn't really pay attention. I wasn't thinking he was talking to us. I was like looking around and shit. I said, "Are you talking to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, where are you going?" I said, "Why are you asking?" He's like, "Oh, I just want to know what you guys are up to." And I said, "Why?" And he's like, and he pulls the card. He goes, "Can I see your ID?" And I said, "Why?" And I said, "Did I commit a crime?" And he's like, "No." Then I said, "Then why do I have to show you my ID?" I said, "We're just walking down the street." And I said, "I'll let you know that we're just going to this place here to go get wings and watch some football." And he's like, "Well, I got to run your ID." And I said, "No, you don't." I said, "What crime did I commit?" Then my friend, which he, unbeknownst to this fella, my friend was just graduating from University of Florida, and he was taking business law. He was taking law classes and was going to be an attorney. He was getting ready to take his test to be an attorney. And then he said, "Look, if you keep this up, we're going to bring a personal lawsuit against you for for kidnapping." And he started naming all kinds of shit because we're at that point we're pretty much being held hostage. We're not allowed to walk down the street without you showing somebody ID when there's no crimes being committed. And it's like it was like that a lot down here. And then after the pandemic, these people laid off, so they stopped being such assholes to people. But I mean, I drive, I travel, I guess you call it. I don't carry commerce or anything like that. I own my own car. I just paid it off. I paid $3,000 for this 2002 Neon Dodge, and it had 69,000 miles on it, so it's perfect for me. I had to get rid of my my Highlander. The bottom of the truck was rusting out so bad it was falling apart, but it was like looked nice on the inside, but it was just dangerous. And I got little Joshua and stuff, so I can't drive some piece of shit truck like that that's gonna fall apart. But even as I'm speaking to you, I keep saying the word drive, but we're not driving. We're traveling. You're actually just traveling down the road. You're not bothering anybody. You own the car, and then these people are grifters and trying to get your fucking money, and this is why you got crimes going on. People breaking into person's houses and doing all kinds of shit in Florida, and Daytona Beach Shores, they have the most DUIs in Volusia County, and in the state of Florida, they write more DUIs than any other state, any other agency in the state. And for a 7-mile radius, they have 35 officers. But in the shores, you used to have to be cross-trained. You had to be an EMT, a firefighter, and a police officer. So, like, they were cross-trained, and they were ruthless, you know. I got into it a few times with some guys that were bullies in high school, and I never been arrested or anything like that, but I've gotten into them just walking down the street or, you know, minding my business, and just some guys you know from school, there were bullies, they're fucking cops now, and they got guns, and they come pull you over, hey, where you going? None of your fucking business, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you're tying up people's time over bullshit. It's all a grift. This whole thing's falling apart right in front of our eyes. People are fed up with this shit. This corrupt dual party system that we have. People voting for evil. And then they have the audacity to say on Twitter, well, at least, I'm voting for the lesser evil. Okay, you're voting for evil. If you vote for evil, evil is evil. You're not voting for people that actually give a shit about you, that live in your district, that care about the communities and stuff. And that's where it starts. It starts at home. And then you got people on these channels, these YouTube channels, talking about God, praying to God, Jesus is going to help you and stuff, and there's water shortages everywhere. Well, why don't you use your channel that you have 70-some thousand people on and get a GoFund thing going on, GoFund charity, and send water to these people. You know, find out, make phone calls in the areas that need water and send fucking bottles of water. You can literally go to Walmart in Florida and buy 35 packs of water for $5 of drinking water from Zephyr Hill. I literally buy 4 cases a month, and we go through about a case and a half. So I stock up on water, even though that, we have a lot of it here in Florida because of shit that's going on in this country. You cannot survive without water. Like, you need water to survive, okay? And we live in the most advanced country in the world that these people can control the weather, the government can do all kinds of stuff like that, and it's not some fucking conspiracy theory. It's actual fucking science. These people have been doing this since the 40s. Okay, so they can control the weather and make it rain and shit like that, and then they can also do all kinds of shit like, make hurricanes, tornadoes. Nowhere in the Bible in Genesis does it talk about God creating the earth with hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. And then when something happens, some catastrophic event happens, people say, why did God let that happen? God didn't do that. That's the devil doing that. Anytime that there's evil and shit like that, the devil's involved in that. Look what the devil did to Job. Okay? So you are naive to think that voting for these fucking scumbags and listening to these ordinances, which every one of these people, mayors and everything else, they swore oath to uphold the United States Constitution. Now, is that the Constitution of 1871 Act, where we sold our fucking country and it's a corporation? Or is it the actual 1776 Act of the Constitution, the original Constitution, which gave you freedoms and liberties? Where these fellows are making mistakes is they're going by the original Constitution, this fellow Paul, and these people are going by the 1871 Constitution, which sold our country and took away your rights. And every day you have President Biden coming out saying all kinds of shit about a group of people, and the only reason why he's attacking MAGA is because these creatures are petrified of a legitimate third party. If they have a legitimate third party, like Ross Perot was trying to do in the 90s, and Ross Perot took just enough votes from George Bush that he didn't win the second term, and then Bill Clinton won. Because of that guy, he broke it down to where you would have Social Security money in a private fund, and you would have access to your money, and he was going to do all kinds of stuff. And they literally threatened his family. And this guy was a billionaire. They threatened his family. They tried to go after him. He was a funny-looking fella, but he was a smart man, and he knew what was going on. But he didn't understand the level of evil he was up against, so he had to back off. They told him to back off, and after the election, during the election, he already had enough votes to make a difference. So the problem isn't that Trump is this great guy that's doing all this great stuff because he's a vengeful man, and he's really going after people that gave him a hard time while he was in office. This is why they're going after the FBI and all this stuff like that. It's all a psyop. These are Masons, Luciferian Masons. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, Biden is intentionally destroying America, so you will vote for Trump and you will vote for your own enslavement. And I believe when Trump gets into office, he's going to try to make laws where you can change the term limits as president. And he really wants to set up a monarchy. He demands private notes. He read books on Hitler's speeches and stuff when he was younger. He knows how to speak. He knows how to influence people. And he's very, very, very good at that. He doesn't know history that well because he was comparing the Hitler's generals. He was trying to say that he needs loyalty from his generals like the generals of Hitler's time. But he didn't know that the Hitler generals tried to assassinate Hitler more than 3 times. And they were trying to take him out because he was evil. Okay? You don't know the half of how bad Hitler was. He was so evil. He was into satanic worshiping. He had his soldiers going around trying to find artifacts and stuff like that, like Napoleon. Napoleon found the Rosetta Stone, and that's why we can decipher these hieroglyphics, because the person who did the Rosetta Stone wrote half of it in Greek and half of it in Latin to decipher the Pictics and the hieroglyphics and the Sanskrit of that time. So that's why we have that type of knowledge of what that stuff means, because Napoleon found the Rosetta Stone when he was going to Egypt. So that's what Hitler was doing. He was really looking for the Ark of the Covenant, and he was looking for the Spear of Destiny, because apparently if you have the Spear of Destiny, that is the spear that killed Jesus, because Jesus didn't die on the cross like the other two. He was, his life was prolonged. So what the Romans would do for mercy is they would stab you in the heart to put you out of your misery and to make sure you're dead. But they would hang you up there, crucify you, and usually you would be dead in a few hours or so, depending on what they actually did to you, because they didn't put the nails in your hands. They put the nails in your radial artery, so you would bleed to death. You would, that's how it was done. And in Jesus's case, they flogged him, which you can't imagine the pain, and even that should have killed him, because it tears the skin off your back. And he literally was a bloody pulp when he went to Saul Pontius Pilate the second time, and Pontius Pilate was actually mad about it, about them doing that, and he punished the people that did that to him, because they weren't supposed to do that, take it to that level. But this is the kind of deception that's going on in the world. And I'm going to go a couple more minutes, and you should go check this out. This is very educational. It's a 30-minute video, but I was just making a response video. I'm also going to do a response video to my friend over there, Quinn Zone. He's doing good work. He's exposing the NFL and college football, and he has very few subs, and I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm just a regular person. I'm just sharing information so you guys can make a educated decision. Let's hear some more.
Commerce on the roadway. I am traveling in my private property from point A to point B, which, as it says in there, is my right to do so, upheld many times in the Supreme Court. Sure, no problem, bud.
I'm doing the same thing, Paul. I'm trying to stop smoking cigarettes. I got a puffy machine. Now, Paul's very educated on the law. He's been in court quite a few times.
I got stopped by one of the officers here, so I am recording. Yeah, we're going to see how this goes. Gave him my paperwork, and yeah.
We're going to fast forward a little bit because I want you to hear some of the dialogue.
What are you doing right there on Colfax then? Operating the motor vehicle?
Now listen, he's going to try and catch him.
That is doing commerce on the roadway. It even gives definitions in the code. It says,
I want to rewind it a little bit so you can hear this.
That's not the
That's not the dictionary I
I'm
follow.
simply trying to abide by the law of the land and by the motor vehicle code and by all the rights given to me in this
I don't
country.
know what motor vehicle code you're following, but in the state of Colorado, you need to have a license, insurance, and registration to operate a motor vehicle on state roads.
Okay, can I give you the definitions of that by Black's Law's dictionary? Operating a motor vehicle is defined
That's
in.
not the dictionary I follow, then.
That's what. Then you have a conflict of interest with the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court, which is the highest law of this land, follows Black's Law's dictionary. So I'm not interested in contracting with you or following anything that you follow. Like I said, even in the motor vehicle code, which you guys are following as a corporation, the Supreme Court is beyond that. But let's just take the motor vehicle code. The definition of my understanding of a motor vehicle is a vehicle that is doing commerce on the roadway. It even gives definitions in the code. It says tractor, trailer, bus.
The best part, I mean, I've watched the video a few times, and I like how he says this, and it's true. He goes, I am not interested in contracting with you. See, you are making a contract with the state or the government or anything like that. When you go into court, they'll ask you, are you Mr. Sean Sweeney? And I'll say, no, I'm not Mr. Sean Sweeney. Because my mom didn't name me Mr. Sean Sweeney. On my birth certificate, it says Sean Michael Sweeney. It doesn't say Mr. Sean Michael Sweeney. So when you go and tell them that you're Mr. such and or Mrs. such and such, or whatever you do to identify yourself as a character that they can apply these laws to, then you are submitting your rights away to that judge. And this is how this works out. This is how the system works, okay? The prosecutor, let's say that you have a $100 ticket. Well, the prosecutor owes that money to the court, okay? And the most important person there isn't the judge. It's the stenograph, the person who's taking down all the information, the lady that's sitting there typing all this stuff. She's the one that collects the money. So they're going to try to pass, and the judge is going to try to help them do this. They're going to try to pass that burden on to you. The money that they owe to the judge and to the stenograph, they're going to try to pass that on to you. I've seen video after video after video of people going to court and just annihilating these judges because they're foul Luciferians, and that's why they wear those black robes, because they're part of an organization that is supposed to enslave you. They're going by what you call maritime laws. They're sea laws. So you're practically a dead person when you walk into the courtroom. I know it sounds crazy, but you're a dead person until you identify yourself. And that's why they'll say John Doe, because if you don't identify yourself, they still have to have somebody to place that blame on. So the more you educate yourself on your rights, because when God made you, you're free. Okay, you're free to do whatever. And God says, there's for certain things that I don't want you to do, and you'll have a better life. I don't want you to kill anybody. I don't want you to steal off of anybody. I don't want you to covet off of anybody. I want you to respect your mom and dad. I want you to not cause problems with people and to help others. That's why they have the 10 Commandments, and that's those laws really in 1066. William the Conqueror started what you call precedents. He would hear thousands of cases, and he was the one judging it. Okay, and what would happen? Somebody would come in and steal a loaf of bread because it was during times where they were hungry, and okay, you got a day in jail for doing that. Some countries cut your hands off, but this guy would put you in a day in jail. So every person that did this the first time, day in jail, day in jail, day in jail, whatever the case might be. So he already knew what the punishment was going to be. The same with the courts here. They have what you call precedents. They're using the same type of laws from back in 1066, okay? That's what I'm saying. These laws have not changed. But there's something called the common laws, and that's what us humans, like regular people, and their norms of society, like don't steal off anybody, don't kill anybody, don't commit adultery, don't covet off your friends or family. Coveting is like if I see somebody with a car that I like and I want that car, so I'm going to I'm going to come up with a plan to get that car off of them and say these people are breaking laws so I can get that. You covet it with your eyes and it goes into your heart. It becomes greed and all kinds of other stuff, and wrath and pride and the seven deadly sins occur when you start doing these things, unbeknownst to yourself. So you're actually destroying your soul. You're destroying the person you are. Just like these card influencers, all these big card influencers. They're out there. They sold their soul for money. Jeff Wilson, Dan the Curator, Neo, all these dudes. They're all Sports Cards Radio. They're involved in shit too. They're just giving you the little bits of truth. I bet you the Sports Card Radio could really expose people if they really want to. But they're not trying to because they're part of that shit. They're all making money off of these channels. And then I got an email the other day saying that the people that I mentioned in my videos to go see, that they're, I'm making money off of that. I'm not making money off of anybody. You can see that I'm not monetized. I never was monetized. I never would, wanted to be monetized. I've been on YouTube for 10 years, dude. I could have been monetized when they first started doing it without having 1,000 subs. I could sell all kinds of shit on my channel. I do sports cards. I do all kinds of stuff. I got 100% feedback on all my sales and everything that I do. I give out extra cards. Even people that I didn't even know knew that I had a store buy off me. A few people that are watching my channels, they bought some stuff off me, and I've hooked them up with like $200 cards for like 90, 100 bucks, 50, 60 bucks, because they collect Boston Celtics stuff. And I ain't going to tell who they are, but, I give them extra cards and stuff because I want people to have fun and enjoy themselves. I want to have a life, and basically, I think that we can all agree on this, okay? We just want to live our life without being bothered with shit, dude. We just want to have fun. We want to spend time with our families. We want to spend time with our friends. We want to have good times at the beach and fishing. And even the Black Hawk Survivor fella, he's teaching people how to do survival times and have fun. And then he's in his little canoe over there in the Carolinas doing fishing times in the ponds and the lakes. And I'm like, dude, you're going to need a bigger boat than that if you come to Florida with me, my man, because those boats ain't going to, them alligators will come right up to that boat and knock you right over, my man. But, I'd love to go fishing with that fella. He's a young dude, and he seems like, he's probably in his 40s. And he reminds me of my uncle. My uncle was a Marine for 16 years. He was a spotter and stuff like that. And he told me about Vietnam times. And he was in his 80s, close to his 80s now. But he's a tough fella. He's a big dude. And he didn't take no shit off anybody. And I remember going to the bar one time, and my teacher was in there. And my teacher was a sergeant major and used to fly helicopters in Vietnam. And he was deaf as a doorknob. And Major Page, he was my friend's dad, and he was a character. Boy, everything was ship shape with him. So we go in there, and I'm 21 at the time, and we're playing some pool. And my uncle's got a big Marine bulldog on his forearm, and has his platoon number and all that shit that goes along with it. And this guy was saying something about the Marines, and I said, oh no. I'm thinking in my head, this is going to be bad because these two fellas are pretty big dudes. My uncle went up to him and said, you got a fucking problem with the Marines? The guy's like, no, you guys are stupid and all. He's like, you fucking asshole, you almost got us killed a few times flying that fucking helicopter, and then they're arguing, and then all of a sudden they're drinking and having fun and telling war stories and shooting pool, and I couldn't even shoot pool now. I'm like, what the fuck? I come here to play some pool, fellas. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, all right. And it was fun. But that's how hardcore my uncle was about the military. He loved his Marines, and they fucked with him when he first went in there. He wears like a size 10.5, and they gave him like a size 9.5 shoe, and they would fuck him with him, and they did that. He said the one guy, he was when they got off the bus, he got so excited from the drill sergeants fucking with them. They would make you put your bags to the right side of you, then the bags to the left side of you, then in the front another person would come by and fuck with you, and then the guy got so excited he had a fucking heart attack and dropped dead in boot camp. And my uncle was like, holy shit, people are dying before they even get into war times. But I had to fight for my uncle for over 10 years for him to get disability, and he was clearly fucked up. I mean, he drinks every single day. He doesn't hurt anybody, but he's a clean-cut fella, and he was messed up over Nam, and they wouldn't give him his disability, and he was totally, needed it. And my mother and I fought from, it was from like 1984 on to 97 or 96 before we got him his, it was in his 90s, because he was getting a little Social Security disability, but he should have got pension money from being in the Marines for 16 years, and they were fucking with him. So he got all of his money back. It took us a long time, and the judge apologized. And I actually wrote two presidents. I wrote Ronald Reagan when he was in office, and then I wrote Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton actually wrote me back and said that they're going to look into that kind of stuff because he was getting letters and stuff. So, I don't know what he did about it, but I know that after, I got the congressman involved and things like that, my uncle got his shit sorted out, but it took him a long time. And he was crying. He lost his wife and kids, because he was fucked up. And, he lived with us for a while. And, I love my uncle. He was just a difficult person to deal with. And I had made a mistake when I was like 19. He was talking shit to my mom, which is his sister. And I was like, dude, we're going outside. You ain't talking to my mom like that. And then I got the shit beat out of me because I didn't know that you could get thrown on the ground so fast that it'll make your fucking head spin. I was ready to do boxing times, and Uncle Cheesy was ready to do military Marine shit on you. And he taught me some things. And then we were close. We fished. We do crabbing times, and we did all that. And he never had a driver's license in his whole entire life. My uncle. He got pulled over all the time, fucking doing shit. Never, ever has he been arrested for not having a driver's license. Ever. He told him, I don't need one. And this guy's saying the same thing. And then this video is a little long, and I'm talking to you guys because I don't have live stream. So just go and check this out. It's important.
Or a taxi,
let's listen to some
driver,
more.
Bus driver, truck driver. I am not a driver because I'm not transporting or in the act of trafficking any goods or peoples. I am.
Let me ask you a question. What were you doing right there on Colfax then? Operating the motor vehicle. Would you consider yourself a driver?
No,
of a motor vehicle?
Absolutely not. A driver's
a
driver by definition. I understand there's a colloquialism that we don't understand here, or maybe they haven't told us or we don't understand, but the word driving by definition means you must be employed by somebody. So I was not driving. I was traveling in my private property from point A to point B, which, like I said, the Supreme Court has upheld many times. I have the right to do so. If I was, let's say, doing Uber or some form of hauling goods or services on the roadways, then yes, the government has a right to know that I can operate the roadway to do that business and then tax me, of course. But I'm not doing such. I'm traveling from point A to point B in property that I purchased privately and legally and lawfully.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What is your name, man? Why do you not want to identify yourself?
I just believe that nothing personal to you. I have had some incidents in the past where any information that I give, as you know, can and will be used against me in a court. And I don't believe that I have any necessity to give any information.
See my name.
But you're required to produce your name because you are a government employee. It actually says I can ask you for 3 forms of ID, which you have to produce. You cannot ask me for. This is by my understanding of you guys' contractual law to uphold the Constitution and even the codes, quote unquote, of the state and the city. My understanding of that is I am not required to provide any of that information unless I'm being charged or some kind of crime is suspected, which I don't believe.
You're being charged for violating traffic code right now.
If you want to bring those charges, that's fine. But when we go to court and they convict me in a local court, I will go to Supreme Court and you will be held accountable and liable for those charges, just like a credit card. You cannot bring charges and not be held liable for them because the responsibility and onus is on the person bringing them. So I would hope that you'll be able to prove in a court of law, based on case law and everything else, that I don't have a right to see, this is the game. I don't have a right to take my private property from point A to point B, which, like I said, the Supreme Court ruling is in that documentation I gave you. All the definitions are there. So I'm not coming from my own manifestation. I'm not coming from something that I want to be true or made up. I've read the definitions. I've gone through the case law. I've looked at the Supreme Court decisions. It's expressly stated in there. The law is expressed, not implied. This is my understanding of it. I'm a man who does no harm, and that's how I live my life. I live my life by truth and doing no harm.
That's what he's doing is the best way to deal with this type of stuff. He's trying to educate this guy on constitutional law. Then they're not having it. They need to write tickets or they're going to get fired. Okay, that's how that works out. I have plenty of friends of mine that are police officers. I even have family members that are police officers. My brother Frank is a detective in Philadelphia. He actually does diving. He's getting retired. I had my uncle Gary. He's a detective in Philadelphia. They were got awards out the ass. And when I was up there, other uncles. I have like 5 uncles that were involved in the military and police department and all that, and they would just say the bullshit that they had. They don't want to do none of this, but if they didn't write tickets and shit, they would get fired. And that's what this basically is. This guy's trying to trick Paul into saying things that will actually get him to comply contractually into this fucking grift that they're running. So please go check out this dude's channel. I know I've been talking about some things. It's important that we share our ideas. I'm a real live human being. I'm on YouTube to help and actually share what I see and what I want your folks' opinions on stuff. I want you to express your opinions. And the only people I block on my channel are these bots that are coming up on my channel that talk, trying to get people to go to sex channels and shit like that. And if you click onto them websites, you're going to get hacked into, okay? So that, and it's not, I do have children watching these channels. Even sometimes I tell them not to because I use profanity and I'm exposing these people for doing crooked crimes in our community. And I told everybody the FBI was coming for these big influencers and PSA and Beckett and all these things. And now Sports Radio just made a video that the FBI went to PSA and they're getting cards that were trimmed and committing fraud. And what people don't understand, even PSA, if they knowingly create a trim card and they charge that person for grading the card and for the fee that the card's worth, once they put a stamp on that envelope and send it through the mail, not only are they committing fraud in the federal area, they're committing mail fraud, and that's when you're going to have postal inspectors, and postal inspectors do have an actual area where they deal with fraud and baseball cards and all that different stuff, all types of fraud they deal with, and they are serious, and they will put your ass in fucking federal prison for that type of shit that these people are pulling. So anytime that you put a stamp on something and you knowingly know that stuff that you're selling is fraudulent, not only are you going to be convicted in the state that you live in, you're also going to be convicted by the United States Post Office for mail fraud. So keep that in mind. Just do good business with people. When you sell stuff on eBay, it isn't going to hurt you to throw some extra stuff in there for these people. They got some kids. We're in bad times, and then all the grifters are coming out. They're trying to get $1,000 cards for $200, $300. I just had a guy, tell me he wanted a Cody Bellinger card for his kid at his birthday, and I cut him a deal. The card's listed on Prostine and Comcast for $115. It's a Cody Bellinger quadruple autographed numbered card to 20. And I am, myself and one other person only has it on there. It's a 2018 National Pentium Immaculate. So they're rare cards, they're expensive cards. And, and I don't know if he's telling me the truth, but I told him I'll send him some extra stuff for his kid. Because I have a binder full of Cody Bellinger stuff. I think that Trey Turner, Corey Seager, Mookie Betts, and Cody Bellinger are being undervalued right now. They're some of the better players in baseball. And what's going on with Cody is that he basically lost 2 of his best friends that went to different teams, and now he's got new teammates. Him and Corey Seager are tight. Him and Jock Peterson are tight. He's tight with Chris Bryant. He's trying to get Chris Bryant to sign with the Dodgers instead of San Francisco. But they got Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner, which like I say, They're undervalued cards. They're undervalued players. Trey Turner's a sure Hall of Famer. He's led the league last year in hits and RBIs and I'm sorry, stolen bases, but he's up there in RBIs also. So and this year's the same thing. He's in second place behind Freddie Freeman in hits. He's only 2 hits behind Freddie Freeman, and he's in the top 5 for stealing, and he has RBIs. So there are guys out there you can get good deals on, and you just sit on the stuff, But I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I do. I buy guys that I like, and I watch this shit too, because this stuff's important. We have to share this. These videos are a little longer because I'm not speaking fast. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts so everybody understands what the hell is going on here. And you are the problem, and myself included. When I was voting for my own enslavement. So I stopped voting years ago because I woke up to this shit, and I'm like, this ain't helping nobody. These guys aren't doing anything to help anybody. There's no Medicare for all. There's no free tuition for people to go to college like every other civilized country. And I don't want to hear about who's paying for it. Who's paying for the hundreds of billions of dollars we're sending to Ukraine that we could usually use in our country to help our infrastructure, to help our citizens, to help ourselves. And even illegal aliens coming in, they have more rights than these fucking people in Ukraine. They're literally starting proxy wars to fuck with Russia and one of the third biggest powerhouse in the world, and China. None of you folks want to go out there and put a gun in your hand and fight against the Chinese or Japanese or fucking Russians or any of that shit. You watch too much television. You're going to get your ass killed. Your family's going to be without you. So you keep voting for these evil creatures. They're fucking vile. All of them. You got this one chick from Colorado talking shit. She looks like a porn star. I texted her on Twitter. I said, shouldn't you be making porn videos right now? And you're talking about the Democrats voting for Ukraine. I've seen what your voting is. You voted for to give funds to the Ukraine. You're voting for the same thing that the Democrats are voting for, and then you're telling them we can't afford spending and these Democrats got to stop. You're the one fucking voting for it. I see that every time that these people, these Republicans, these rhinos, or whatever you want to call them, they're telling you what the Democrats are doing, and they're doing the same fucking thing. None of these people are saying, I ain't voting for this shit. We need to vote for the American people to have things. It's a criminal organization. It's a mafia type of organization. The House Speaker, literally, her dad had connections to Lucky Luciano and Lansky and all these fucking mobsters in Baltimore and all over the place. And that's why this going on in California. Her fucking nephew is a governor there because she's the House Speaker and worth hundreds of millions of fucking dollars. There's 4 families in California that run the whole show. The Gettys, the Browns, the Feinsteins, and the Pelosi's. They're untouchable. You think that her husband's gonna... That DUI was just a fucking joke. It's a psyop to get your mind off of this lady going to Taiwan to get them to move their company to Texas, which they're doing. They're the biggest battery producer in the world, Taiwan. And also, they're also the biggest microchip producer in the world. So those two things, that's why China wants to go over there and sort it out. They're going to lose money. It's all about money and grifting. They don't care about the American people. And you're voting for that. And the way to stop this from all happening is everybody in America needs to go on a complete work stoppage until these fuckers are out of office. And every state can take care of their own affairs and every community works together. They're like, well, how are you going to build the hospitals without federal government? Do you think the federal employees are the ones doing the building of the hospitals? It's local contractors that are doing that. It's local people that are doing that. That's local people that are building the roads. Stop acting stupid. We can build anything. People were building fucking long cabins by themselves back in the day with an axe and a fucking machete. And we got bulldozers that can pick up 100-ton fucking bricks and shit. People are fucking gone. And that's why our country is fucked up. Whatever they tell you to do, you do it. We don't even ask a question. Our kids are being taught the wrong things in school. Schools are, when you get into 9th grade, in my opinion, you should already be trying to find out what these children want to get involved with in life. And then after they do that, After you find out what they want to do as a career, then you start training them in that field. They'll let them take classes on, if they want to learn how to be a mechanic, then you give them classes in mechanic school, and reading and writing and math and history. Those are the 4 things you need. Reading and math is the most important out of all of them. And if they want to learn a foreign language, you can do that too. But all this other shit is bullshit. They're not learning anything in a high school. And college is just a way to network. It's a grift. You're not learning anything in college, really. You can learn all this stuff yourself. I already know. I've gone through this shit. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not, lying. These colleges make billions of dollars. It's ridiculous. And every civilized country in the world has free fucking tuition for their children to go to college everywhere. We're the only country that does this. We're the only country that has ads for attorneys on TV and pharmaceutical ads. No other country allows that on their television. Okay? So, you have yourself to blame for this kind of shit. You're paying insurance on your car, which you can't afford, and you'll go to jail for that in Florida. They'll take your license away from you for not having insurance on your car. And it's a fucking grift. It's all a grift. There should be Medicare for all. If you got enough money to send over to fucking Ukraine, you have enough money to make sure grandma can get fucking insulin and all the other shit that comes along with being, unhealthy or whatever. And if you go to the doctors and able to go to doctors as you're supposed to be able to, you wouldn't be coming down with illnesses in your 40s and 50s because it would have been found. You are to blame why our country is the way it is. You keep voting red and blue, and that's what's going to happen. There is no difference between these two fucking parties. And that's why this mega movement is putting a fucking thorn in their side. And Trump is evil. You mark my words and see, when he becomes president, you're going to see how he is. He wants to rule, okay? He isn't caring about parties or nothing like that. He's trying to set up a fucking monarchy. And you mark my words and see, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then after that happens, people are going to be with their mouth open going, I can't believe this happened. That's why these fucking guys are on YouTube or Twitter taking him down and all that, which I disagree with. Because I think the more he says, the more he incriminates himself. Along with Biden and all of them. I'm not just hating on Trump. He's one of many. There are no fucking white hats. You're the white hat. You're the one that has to do stuff in your community to help your life. If you don't, you have yourself to blame. That's the way it is. Sorry. I do what I can do. You do what you can do. We can all help each other. We can all do this. We don't need these fucking criminals doing this to us. So, you guys take care. I'm going to do a video today. We're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away a Bowman football blaster box, the 2021, and it's got some good stuff in there. And I'm going to make a video of me opening one up and show you what you're going to win. And I'll tell you about the contest rules. And it's going to be free for you to enter. And I appreciate your support. And none of these big channels are going to do anything. People with 1,000 subscribers, they ain't giving you out shit. But I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching these videos. Are long because I don't have live stream. I'll figure that out later. We'll be able to do that and have communication. And I ain't looking for people to fucking give me money on my live stream like that fucking goofball Pat Trufner and all these other fucking scumbags. They're just in there for the money. I don't care about the money. I care about you and our society, and I want to make it a better place for us to live. God bless everybody here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please go check out my man, Paul Unslaved. He's doing good work. He's a good dude, and I like him. He's funny, and he's very smart, and he articulates his thoughts the right way. So you guys take care. I'm going to do some breakdowns with Quentin Zone's video, too. I'm going to do a response video to him. He's doing awesome work over there. And I want to give a shout-out to Rothschild. He's doing good work over there. And there's a couple other guys. When I do my next video, I'll tell you about them. And we'll go through that when I do my card opening. So thanks for watching. As I said, please like and subscribe. And I appreciate everybody, okay? Thanks.